All right, we are a little past 8 o'clock. Anyway, let's go ahead and get settled, get comfortable, and jump back in where we left off. Welcome back. This one. Welcome back. This is our third night of reading from Goethe's Faust. Off to a slightly late start today. It took a little bit of a distraction over at the home bar. Priorities. Got to keep these things in order. But we've seen things as they've started to come together. Our first night, we saw Faust and God discussing a little bit of a wager and seeing whether or not they're going to be able to, we saw Mephistopheles and God, just trying to determine whether or not Mephistopheles will be able to corrupt and bring Faust down. Restocked is a strong word. We're working with the dredges here. I think I might have enough left in the bottle for one more of these, and it will be with a heavy heart. And speaking of heavy hearts, we saw the bargain taking place. We saw Faust begin his own fall, because he's going neck deep in the hedonism at this point. He's not really resisting any sort of temptations, and there's a little bit of manipulation going on, just a tiny bit. And it seems that he's somewhat falling head over heels for Margaret, one of the nearby village women. And she's also rather susceptible to a few of these temptations, as Mephistopheles has magicked up various crates of jewels and jewelry for her to help smooth things along. So, we'll see from tonight how much further Faust has to fall, how much more he'll be giving in to temptation and falling to hedonism, whether Mephistopheles will have his way in the end, and how the rest of the world, those around Faust, are going to have their own worlds shattered and torn down around them. Because I'm sure these things, a tree doesn't fall in the woods without knocking down a few other branches. So, let's go ahead and dive in, and we'll see what we have left tonight. We should be finishing up without too much trouble tonight. We don't have a terrible rush. And actually, I've done a little bit of tweaking, and we've shifted to a different reader that hopefully we'll be able to have sort of laying the groundwork for a little bit of an easier viewing and read-along experience as we go, and sort of pave the way for our eventual co-streaming over on Twitch. We're not ready for that yet, probably toward the end of the month, but we'll get things one step at a time. So, let's shift over to the other scene here. And now, when we do eventually do the co-stream, I think, from what I've been hearing, Twitch is not terribly happy with having outside stream and programs visible. As such, I think when we are doing the simultaneous stream between, we will need to hide the YouTube chat. Just a heads up there. So we'll probably shift some things around on the screen a little bit as we go, but for now, while we're still in YouTube land, let's keep things as they are. But for now, I have Huzzah! We have a book reader that shows on stream. And let's go ahead and, while we're at it, let's lock that in place. And I think we can move the book graphic over here. That actually kind of works. This might be where I keep it for the when we're on the split stream. Just nice and comfy. We still get the fireplace in the background. We have the book label there, and we've got all of our elements in place. So let's go ahead and jump back in where we left off. And no, I'm not ignoring the Cats reference. I'm just trying to put it out of mind. Because it really depends on which Cats you're talking about. If it's the actual Broadway version, okay, we can be friends. The relatively recent remake for the film screen, no, we're done. Oh, I think the clock here is a little misaligned. Oh no, it's fine. It's just that. There we go. We'll get it bunched a little bit tighter over there. Yeah, there was a series of choices involved with that, and I think all of them were wrong. It wasn't... There were very many points at which they could have turned back and done the right thing. But no. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump back into Faust from chapter scene 15. And as you may have seen, I won't need to do the clip and snip and save and reload images from now on. They'll just be in the reader. Fantastic! Alright. Scene 15. In Margaret's room. Oh, this will actually also make the telling of who's speaking in these plays quite a bit simpler. I'll just omit names entirely, because you can follow along. We're going pro now, lads. Alright. Alright. Margaret is at the spinning wheel, alone. My peace is gone. My heart is sore. I never shall find it. Oh, never more. Save I have him near. The grave is here. The world is gall and bitterness all. My poor weak head is racked and crazed. My thought is lost. My senses mazed. My peace is gone. My heart is sore. I never shall find it. Ah, never more. To see him only, at the pane I sit. To meet him only, the house I quit. His lofty gait, his noble size, the smile of his mouth, the power of his eyes, and the magic flow of his talk, the bliss in the clasp of his hand, and his kiss. My peace is gone, my heart is sore, I never shall find it, never more. My bosom yearns for him alone, dared I clasp him and hold and own, and kiss his mouth to heart's desire, and on his kisses at last expire. We see here presumably, Margaret, lost in her own thought, and yearning for Faust. That she doesn't really know is Faust, just the gentleman. And these images have all been rather on the spicy side, so we won't dwell on that for too long. Alright. Scene 16. In Martha's garden. We have Margaret and Faust. Promise me, Henry. What I can. How is with thy religion, pray? Thou art a dear, good-hearted man, and yet, I think, dost not incline that way. Leave that, my child. Thou know'st my love is tender. For love, my blood and life would I surrender. And as for faith and church, I grant to each his own. It's not enough. We must believe thereon. Must we? Would that I had some influence. Then too, thou honourest not the holy sacraments. I honour them. Desiring no possession, 'tis long since thou hast been to mass or to confession. Believest thou in God? I believe... my darling, who shall dare, I believe in God, to say? Ask priest or sage the answer to declare, and it will seem a mocking play, a sarcasm on the asker. Then thou believest not. Hear me not falsely, sweetest countenance. Who dare express him, and who profess him, saying, I believe in him? Who, feeling, seeing, deny his being, saying, I believe him not? The all-enfolding, the all-upholding, folds and upholds he not? Thee, me himself? Arches not there the sky above us? Lie not beneath us firm the earth, and rise not on us shining, friendly the everlasting stars? Look I not, eye to eye on thee, and feel'st not thronging to head and heart the force, still weaving its eternal secret, invisible, visible round thy life? Vast as it is, fill with that force thy heart, and when thou in the feeling wholly blessed art, call it then what thou wilt, call it bliss, heart, love, God. I have no name to give it. Feeling is all in all. The name is sound and smoke, obscuring heaven's clear glow. Well, that is fine and good to hear it so, much the same way the preacher spoke, only with slightly different phrases. The same thing in all places, all hearts that beat beneath the heavenly day, each in its language say, then why not I in mine as well? To hear it thus, it may seem passable, and yet some hitch it there must be, for thou hast no Christianity. Dear love, I've long been grieved to see that thou art in such company. How so? The man who goes with thee goes, thy mate, within my deepest, inmost soul I hate. In all my life there's nothing has given my heart so keen a pang of loathing as his repulsive face has done. Nay, fear him not, my sweetest one. I feel his presence like something ill. I've else for all a kindly will. But much as my heart to see thee yearneth, the secret horror of him returneth, and I think the man a knave as I live. If I do him wrong, may God forgive. There must be such queer birds, however. Live with him, with the like of him may I never. When once inside the door comes he looks round so sneeringly, and half in wrath one sees that in nothing no interest he hath. 'Tis written on his very forehead, that love to him is a thing abhorred. I am so happy on thine arm, so free, so yielding, and so warm, and in his presence stifled seems my heart. Foreboding angel that thou art, it overcomes me in such degree, that wheresoe'er he meets us, even I feel as though I'd lost my love for thee. When he is by, I could not pray to heaven, that burns within me like a flame, and surely, Henry, 'tis with thee the same. There now is thine antipathy. But I must go. There shall there never be a quiet hour to see us fondly plighted, with breast to breast and soul to soul united. Ah, if I only slept alone! I'd draw the bolts tonight for thy desire, but mother's sleep so light has grown, and if we were discovered by her, 'twould be my death upon the spot. Thou angel, fear it not. Here is a phial, in her drink, but 3 drops of it measure, and deepest sleep will on her senses sink. What would I not to give thee pleasure? Will not harm her, when one tries it. If 'twould, my love, would I advise it. Ah, dearest man, if but thy face I see, I know not what compels me to thy will. So much have I already done for thee, that scarcely more is left for me to fulfill. And here Mephistopheles enters, and Margaret exits, I think is the stage direction there. The monkey, is she gone? Hast played the spy again? I've heard most fully how she drew thee. The doctor has been catechized, 'tis plain. Great good, I hope, the thing will do thee. The girls have much desire to ascertain. If one is prim and good, as ancient rules compel, if there he's led, they think he'll follow them as well. Thou, monster, wilt nor see nor own. How this pure soul of faith, so lowly, so loving and ineffable, this faith alone, that her salvation is with scruples holy, pines, lest she hold as lost the man she loves so well. Thou, full of sensual, supersensual desire, a girl by the nose is leading thee. Abortion, thou of filth and fire! And then, how masterly she reads physiognomy. When I am present, she's impressed, she knows not how. She in my mask a hidden sense would read. She feels that surely I'm a genius now. Perhaps the very devil indeed. Well, well, tonight. What's that to thee? Yet my delight will also be. Couple more images here. The very evocative and sort of emotional for all of these images. Not really anything that's particular scenes, all just adding to the tone. I have to say, as we're between chapters here, I am continually impressed by how good this translation is. This was originally German, and it's maintained the original meter, so it has the same cadence and feel as the original. But the prose that's been turned out from this translation, the rhyming, the couplets, the cadence and feel and beat, is fantastic. Just always very impressed by this translation. All right, so let's continue now with a short chapter here, chapter 17, scene 17, at the fountain. Margaret and Lisbeth. I think Lisbeth is a new character, with pictures. Hast nothing heard of Barbara? No, not a word. I go so little out. It's true, Sibylla said. Today she's played the fool at last. There's not a doubt. Such taking on of airs. How so? It stinks. She's feeding, too, whene'er she eats and drinks. Ah, and so, at last, it serves her rightly. She clung to the fellow so long and tightly. That was a promenading, at village and dance parading. As the first they must everywhere shine, and he treated her always to pies and wine, and she made it to do with her face so fine. So mean and shameless was her behaviour, she took all the presents the fellow gave her. It was kissing and coddling on and on. So now, at the end, the flower is gone. The poor thing, dost pity her at that? When one of us at spinning sat, the mother nights ne'er let us out the door. She sported with her paramour on the door bench in the passage dark. The length of the time they'd never mark. So now her head no more she'll lift, but do church penance in her sinner's shift. He'll surely take her for his wife. He'd be a fool. A brisk young blade has room everywhere to ply his trade. Besides, he's gone. That is not fair. If him she gets, why let her beware. The boys shall dash her wreath on the floor, and she'll scatter chaff before her door. And Elizabeth exits here, and Margaret returns home from the well. How scornfully I once reviled, when some poor maiden was beguiled. More speech than any tongue suffices, I crave to censure others' vices. Black as it seemed, I blackened still, and blacker yet was in my will. And blessed myself, and boasted high, and now a living sin am I. Yet all that drove my heart thereto, God, was so good, so dear, so true. So this was a very short chapter here, but it's a little gossip by the well between the ladies drawing water. Someone else has been sleeping about, or exposing and parading about with a lover. And the local gossips are quick to chastise. But in her heart, Margaret knows that she's in the same boat. So as we were hinting at earlier, No tree falls in the forest without knocking down a few other limbs. This is Margaret's damage from the fall. All right. Donjon. Huh. All right. Now we have scene 18. Donjon. Is that? Oh. Is this one? Nope. No, I do not think this reader has a dictionary built in. Ah, that is just the inner tower in a castle. I see. So just tower in the that's surrounded by walls. In a niche wall, there's a shrine with an image of the Mater Dolorosa. Lots of flowers before it. Margaret steps in and she's putting fresh flowers in the pots. Incline, O maiden, thou sorrow-laden, thy gracious countenance upon my pain. The sword thy heart in, with anguish smarting, thou lookest up to where thy son is slain. Thou seest the father, and thy sad sights gather, and bear aloft thy sorrow and his pain. Ah, best guessing, beyond expressing, the pangs that wring my flesh and bone. Why this anxious heart so burneth? Why it trembleth, why it yearneth? Knowest thou, and thou alone? Where'er I go, that what sorrow, what woe and sorrow within my bosom aches, alone and unsleeping. I'm weeping, the heart within me breaks. The pots before my window, alas, my tears did wet, as in the early morning for these flowers I sat, within my lonely chamber. The morning sun shone red, I sat in utter sorrow, already on my bed. Help, rescue me from death and stain, O maiden, thou sorrow-laden, incline thy countenance upon my pain. These scenes are very short, sort of rapid-firing them as we're going back and forth. As now we're seeing the angst in Margaret, because she knows that she's not quite in the clear on this with her little tryst with Faust. And he doesn't seem to care at all, so we'll go from there. But yeah, we see the stab part in both views here. So there's a lot of pain under the scenes on this one. Yeah, the stage crew would there would probably be at least a little decent shift, or at least it would be on like two sides of the stage here. But it is a lot of Margaret, so I'm hoping that she wouldn't have to, like, if this was actually played out, it wouldn't need a lot of costume changes, or like it would be go exit stage left, throw a shawl on, run back behind the flies, and enter stage right sort of deal. And meanwhile, they set the other side of the stage without the lights. Alright. Scene 19. At night. The street before Margaret's door. Valentine, a soldier, Margaret's brother. When I have sat at home at some carouse, where each to each his brag allows, and many a comrade praised to me his pink of girls right lustily, with brimming glass that spilled the toast, and elbows planted as in boast, I sat in unconcerned repose, and heard the swagger as it rose, and stroking then my beard, I'd say, smiling the bumper in my hand, each well enough in her own way, but is there one in all the land like Sister Margaret, good as gold, one that to her can candle hold? Cling, clang, here's to her, went round the board, he speaks the truth, cried some. In her the flower of the sex is found, and all the swaggerers were dumb. And now I could tear my hair with vexation, and dash out my brains in desperation. With turned-up nose each scamp may face me, with sneers and stinging taunts disgrace me, and, like a bankrupt debtor sitting, a chance-dropped word may set me sweating. Yet, though I thresh them all together, I cannot call them liars, either. But what comes sneaking there to view? If I mistake not, there are two. If he's one, let me at him drive. He shall not leave the spot alive. Faust and Mephistopheles turn the corner. How from the window of the sacristy upward the eternal lamp sends forth a glimmer, that, lessening sidewards, fainter grows dimmer, and grows and dimmer, till darkness closes from the sky, the shadows thus within my bosom gather. I'm like a sentimental tomcat, rather, that round the tall fire ladder sweeps, and stealthy then along the coping creeps, quite virtuous withal I come, a little thievish and a little frolicsome. I feel in every limb the presage, forerunning the grand Walpurgis night. Day after tomorrow brings its message, and one keeps watch then with delight. Meanwhile may not the treasure risen be, which there behind I glimmering see? Shalt soon experience the pleasure to lift the kettle with its treasure. I lately gave therein a squint, saw splendid lion dollars in't. Not even a jewel, not a ring, to deck therewith my darling girl. I saw among the rest a thing that seemed to be a chain of pearl. That's well indeed, for painful is it to bring no gift when her I visit. Thou shouldst not find it so annoying, without return to be enjoying. Now, while the sky leads forth its starry throng, thou'lt hear a masterpiece, no work completer. I'll sing her first a moral song, the surer afterwards to cheat her. He sings to the cither. What dost thou here in daybreak clear, Katharina dear, before thy lover's door? Beware the blade lets in a maid, that out a maid departeth nevermore. Coaching is shunned, oh such an one, when once 'tis done. Good night to thee, poor thing. Love's time is brief, unto no thief. Be warm and lief, but with the wedding ring. Valentine comes forward. Whom wilt thou lure, God's element? Rat-catching piper thou, perdition! To the devil first the instrument, to the devil then the cursed musician. The cither's smashed, for nothing more 'tis fitting. There's yet a skull I must be splitting. Sir Doctor, don't retreat, I pray. Stand by, I'll lead, if you will but tarry. Out with your spit without delay. You've but a lunge, and I will parry. Then parry that. Why not? 'Tis light. That too, of course. I think the devil must fight. How is it then that my hand's already lame? Rest home. Oh, God! Now is the lubber tame. But come, away. 'Tis time for us to fly. For there arises now a murderous cry. With the police 'twere easy to compound it, but here the penal court will sift and sound it. And now Mephistopheles and Faust exit, and Martha comes out. Come out! Come out! Quick, bring a light! They swear and storm, they yell and fight! And people around. Here lies one dead already, see? The murderers. Whither have they run? Who lies here? 'Tis thy mother's son! Almighty God, what misery! I'm dying, that's quickly said, and quicker yet 'tis done. Why howl, you women there? Instead, come here and listen, every one. Everyone gathers around him. My Margaret, see, still young thou art, but not the least bit shrewd or smart. Thy business thus to slight, so this advice I bid thee heed. Now that thou art whore indeed, why, be one then outright. My brother, God, such words to me! In this game let our Lord God be. What's done, what's already done, alas, what follows it must come to pass. With one beginst thou secretly, then soon will others come to thee. Then, and when a dozen thee have known, thou art also free to all the town. When shame is born, and first appears, she is as in secret brought to light, and when they draw the veil of night over her head and ears, her life, in fact, they're loath to spare her. But let her growth and strength display. She walks abroad, unveiled by day. It is not grown a whit the fairer, the uglier she is to sight. The more she seeks the day's broad light, the time I verily can discern. When all the honest folk will turn from thee, thou jade, and seek protection, as from a corpse that breeds infection, thy guilty heart shall then dismay thee. When they but look thee in the face, shall not in golden chair array thee, nor at the altar take thy place. Shalt not, in lace and ribbons flowing, make merry when the dance is going, but in some corner woe betide thee, among the beggars and cripples hide thee, and so, though even God forgive, on earth a damned existence live. Condemn your soul to God for pardon, that you your heart with slander harden. Ah, pimp, most infamous be still! Could I thy withered body kill, 'twould bring, for all my sinful pleasure, forgiveness in the richest measure. My brother, 'tis hell's own pain, I tell thee, from thy tears refrain. When thou from honour didst depart, it stabbed me to the very heart. Now, through the slumber of the grave, I go to God as a soldier brave. And Valentine dies. The outcome of the duel. And here looks like some of Margaret's own demons haunting her. So it seems that there was a little less secrecy than we might have thought. At least, Margaret's brother knew that she'd been having a liaison, and it got around town because it'd become a bit of gossip there. So there's a little bit more happening behind the scenes here that we're not quite privy to, but just sort of let in on the secret. It's rather well known that Margaret has a beau, and they've been together. And so, really unknowing that it was who Valentine was, Faust, with a little bit of help from Mephistopheles, killed his lover's brother. And so the tragedy continues. We're getting into the parts where things are genuinely terrible. All right. Chapter 20. Scene 20. In the cathedral, there's a service going, there's an organ playing, and there's an anthem going on. And Margaret, in among many of the people, with the evil spirit behind her. How otherwise was it, Margaret, when thou, still innocent, here to the altar camest, and from the worn and fingered book thy prayers didst prattle, half sport of childhood, half God within thee, Margaret, where tends thy thought within thy bosom? What hidden crime prayest thou for mercy on thy mother's soul, or that fell asleep to long torment, and through thee upon thy threshold who's the blood, and stirreth not and quickens something beneath thy heart, thy life disquieting with most foreboding presence? Woe, woe! Would I were free from the thoughts that cross me, drawing hither and thither despite me. Dies ira, dies illa, solvet circlum in favilla. The organ plays. Ridiculously, the trumpet peals. The graves tremble, and thy heart from ashy rest to fiery torments, now again requickened, throbs to life. Oh, that voice is fun. Would I were forth! I feel as if the organ here my breath takes from me, my very heart dissolved by the anthem. Judex ergo cum sedebit, quid latet ad parebit, nil inultum remonebit. I cannot breathe. The massy pillars imprison me. The vaulted arches crush me. Hide thyself. Sin and shame. Stay never hidden. Light, woe to thee. Id sum maeser tunc dicturus, quem patronem rogaturus, cum vix justus sit securus. They turn their faces, the glorified from thee, the pure, their hands to offer, shuddering, refuse thee, woe. Quid sum maeser tum dicturus? Neighbour, you're cordial. And Margaret falls in a swoon. So these are definitely images, I think, from most of these images are for the following chapter, but there's some that are kind of in betwixt. This sort of looks like Margaret having a bit of a bad time with the evil spirit haunting her. Her guilty conscience ravening and ruining her little time at service. Not really any comfort to find here. Because she knows there's a good chance that she's not innocent of her brother's death. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like her mother may have died as well. There's a lot going on that is between the lines in this. So things are moving incredibly quickly. This is a hefty chapter, so we'll read this one, and then at the end of this, we'll likely take a break. This is, I think it's, does it show in the display here? No, okay. So we've got, this chapter is about 15 pages or so. So this is a good chunk of what we have left, honestly. Let me take a look at the, oh yeah, there's only a few pages left, or a few chapters left on this. Alright, so we have Scene 21, Walpurgis Night, the Heart Mountains, the district of Shirk and Elend. Faust and Mephistopheles enter. Dost thou not wish a broomstick steed's assistance? The sturdiest he-goat I would gladly see. The way we take, our goal is yet some distance. So long as in my legs I feel the fresh existence, this knotted staff suffices me. What need to shorten so the way, along this labyrinth of vales to wander, then climb the rocky ramparts yonder, where from the fountain flings eternal spray, in such delight my steps would fain delay. The springtime stirs within fragrant birches, and even the fir tree feels it now. Should then our limbs escape its gentle searches? I notice no such thing, I vow. 'Tis winter still within my body. Upon my path I wish for frost and snow. Now sadly rises, incomplete and ruddy, the moon's lone disk with its belated glow, and lights so dimly that as one advances, at every step one strikes a rock or tree. Let us then use a jack-o'-lantern's glances. I see one yonder, burning merrily. Oh, there, my friend, I'll levy thine attendance. Why waste so vainly thy resplendence? Be kind enough to light us up the steep. My reverence, I hope, will me enable to curb my temperament unstable, for zigzag courses we are wont to keep. Indeed, you'd like mankind to imitate. Now, in the devil's name, go straight, or I'll blow out his being's flickering spark. You are the master of the house I mark, and I shall try to serve you nicely. But then reflect, the mountain's magic mad today. And if a will-o'-the-wisp must guide you on the way, you mustn't take things too precisely. Oh, I'm not even sure. I don't know how to approach this one in the least. But Faust, Mephistopheles, and the Will-o'-the-Wisp are in alternating song. I have to look forward to see if it's... there's 4 flips. You know what? We're just going to do this in natural voice. I don't know who's talking. They're all talking. It's back and forth. This is definitely where it shows as a closet drama, not an actual screenplay or stage play. There would be much clearer stage directions in an actual script. We, it seems, have entered newly in the sphere of dreams enchanted. Do thy bidding guide us truly, that our feet be forwards planted in the desert spaces, see them swiftly changing places. Trees on trees beside us trooping, and the crags above us stooping, and the rocky snouts outgrowing, hear them snoring, hear them blowing, o'er the stones the grasses flowing, stream and streamlet seek the hollow, hear I noises, songs that follow, hear I tender love petitions, voices of those heavenly visions, sounds of hope, of love undying, and the echoes like traditions of old days come faint and hollow. Hoo, hoo, shoo, hoo, nearer hover jay and screech owl, and the plover. Are they all awake and crying? It's the salamander pushes, bloated-bellied through the bushes, and the roots like serpents twisted. Through the sand and boulders toiling, fright us, weirdest links uncoiling, and to entrap us unresisted, living knots and gnarls uncanny, veiled with polypus antennae, from the wanderer mice are flying, 1,000-coloured herd-wise hieing, through the moss and through the heather. And the fireflies wink and darkle, crowded swarms that soar and sparkle, and in wildering escort gather. Tell me if we are still standing, or if further we are ascending. All is turning, whirling, blending, trees and rocks with grinning faces, wandering lights that spin in mazes, still increasing and expanding. Grasp my skirt, with heart undaunted, here a middle peak is planted, whence one seeth with amaze Mammon in the mountain blaze. How strangely glimmers through the hollows a dreary light like that of dawn. Its exultation tracks and follows the deepest gorges faint and wan. Here steam, there rolling vapour sweepeth, here burns the glow through film and haze. Now like a tender thread it creepeth, now like a fountain leaps and plays. Here wind winds away, and in 100 divided veins the valley braids. There, in a corner pressed and sundered, itself detaches, spreads and fades. Here gush the sparkles incandescent, like scattered showers of golden sand. But see, in all their height at present, the rocky ramparts blazing stand. We can sort of see here as they're going through the mountain paths. Has not Sir Mammon grandly lighted his palace for this festal night? 'Tis lucky thou hast seen the sight, the boisterous guests approach that were invited. How raves the tempest through the air, with what fierce blows upon my neck 'tis beating! Under the old ribs of the rock retreating, hold fast, lest thou be hurled down the abysses there. The night with the mist is black, hark, how the forests grind and crack. The owlets are scattered, hearken, the pillars are shattered. The evergreen palace is shaking, boughs are groaning and breaking. The tree trunks terribly thunder, the roots are twisting asunder, in frightfully intricate crashing, each on the other's dashing. And over the wreck-strewn gorges the tempest whistles and surges. Hear'st thou voices higher ringing, far away or nearer singing? Yes, the mountainside along sweeps an infuriate, glamouring song. And witches here in chorus chime in. The witches ride to the Brocken's top, the stubble is yellow and green the crop. There gathers the crowd for carnival, Sir Urian sits over all, and so they go over stone and stock. The witch, she's wait, what? Okay, there's a little bit either of intentional or some censorship going on. The witch she proves and throws the buck. Alone, old Bulbo's coming now. She rides upon a pharaoh sow. Then honor to whom the honor is due. Dame Bulbo first, to lead the crew, a tough old sow and the mother thereon. Then follow the witches, every one. Which way comest thou hither? O'er the Ilsenstone, I peered at the owl in her nest alone. How she stared and glared. I would definitely need to look up another edition to see if this is sort of in the original or whatnot, but that's some homework. At this point, when it's just voices, it doesn't say whose the voices are. It doesn't say whether it's masculine, feminine, witch, demon. We just know it's Walpurgis Night, where, you know, all the things that go bump in the night come out to play. Betake thee to hell, why so fast and so fell? She has scored and has flayed me, see the wound she has made me. The way is wide, the way is long, see what a wild and crazy throng. The broom it scratches, the fork it thrusts, the child is stifled, the mother bursts. As doth the snail in shell we crawl, before us go the women all. When towards the devil's house we tread, woman's 1,000 steps ahead. This definitely would call for like 20 people in a chorus, back and forth and back and forth. We do not measure with such care, woman in 1,000 steps is theft. But howsoe'er she hasten may, man in one leap has cleared the way. Come on, from Rocky Lane. Aloft we'd fain ourselves betake. We've washed and are bright as ever you will, yet we're eternally sterile still. The wind is hushed, the star shoots by, the dreary motion forsakes the sky, the music notes the spark on spark, drizzle whistling through the dark. Ho there, ho there! Who calls from rocky cleft below there? Take me too! Take me too! I'm climbing now 300 years, and yet the summit cannot see. Among my equals I would be. Bears the broom and bears the stock, bears the fork and bears the buck. Who cannot raise himself tonight is evermore a ruined wight. So long I stumble, ill bestead, and the others are now so far ahead. At home I've neither rest nor cheer, yet I cannot gain them here. To cheer the witch will salve avail, a rag will answer for a sail. Each trow a goodly ship supplies, he ne'er will fly, who now not flies. When round the summit whirls our flight, then lower and on the ground alight, and far and wide the heather press, with which blood swarms of wantonness. Okay, that was all a bit of a mess, but now we're getting into some, at least, named characters. They crowd and push, they roar and clatter, they whirl and whistle, pull and chatter. They shine and spurt and stink and burn, the true witch element we learn. Keep close, or we are parted in our turn. Where art thou? Here! Faust, far from the distance. What? World so far astray? Then house right I must use, and clear the way. Make room, Squire Voland comes. Room, gentle rabble, room. Yeah, it is interesting. It plays out. It reminds me a little bit of when we were reading Sophocles. How there was limited direction there, and that's just how it was done back then. Like in the Greek plays, there wasn't a lot of stage direction because there wasn't really much going on. People would come in, say their lines, and leave. And this sort of has the same feel to it. It's almost a blend of a modern styling with the meter and verse and the like classical Greek drama where it's just stand and deliver sort of thing. Here, doctor, hold to me. In one jump we'll resume an easier space, and from the crowd be freed. It's too much, even for the like of me. Yonder, with special light, there's something shining clearer. In those bushes I've a mind to see. Come on, we'll slip a little nearer. Spirit of contradiction, on, I'll follow straight. 'Tis planned most wisely, if I judge aright. We climb the Brocken's top in the Walpurgis night, that arbitrarily here ourselves we isolate. But see what motley flames among the heather. There is a lively club together. In smaller circles one is not alone. Better the summit, I must own. There fire and whirling smoke I see. They seek the evil one in wild confusion. Many enigmas there might find solution. But their enigmas also knotted be. Leave to the multitude their riot. Here will we house ourselves in quiet. It is an old transmitted trade, that in the greater world the little worlds are made. I see stark nude young witches congregate, and old ones veiled and hidden shrewdly. On my account, be kind, nor treat them rudely. The trouble's small, the fun is great. I fear the noise of instruments a-tuning, while din. Yet one must learn to bear the crooning. Come along, it must be, I declare. I'll go ahead and introduce thee there. Thine obligation newly earning, that is no little space. What sayest thou, friend? Look yonder, thou canst scarcely see the end. 100 fires along the ranks are burning. They dance, they chat, they cook, they drink, they court. Where, just tell me, is there better sport? Wilt thou, to introduce us to the revel, assume the part of wizard or of devil? I'm mostly used, 'tis true, to go incognito, but on a gala day one may his orders show. The garter does not deck my suit, but honoured, and at home is here the cloven foot. Perceivest thou yonder snail? It cometh slow and steady, so delicately its feelers pry, that it hath scented me already. I cannot here disguise me if I try, but come, we'll go from this fire to a newer. I am the go-between, and thou the wooer. Here he addresses some that are sitting around the dying embers. Old gentleman, why at the outskirts enter? I'd pray you if I found you snugly in the centre, with youth and revel round you like a zone. You each at home are quite enough alone. Say, who would put his trust in nations? However, for them one may have worked and planned. For with the people, as with women, youth always has the upper hand. They're now too far from what is just and sage. I praise the old ones not unduly. When we were all in all, then truly, then was the real golden age. Parvenu. Parvenu? What is parvenu? Ah, a nouveau riche. Okay. We also were not stupid either, and what we should not often did, how all things have from their bases slid, just as we meant to hold them fast together. Who now a work of moderate sense will read? Such works are held as antiquate and bossy, and as regards the younger folk indeed, they never yet have been so pert and saucy. And all at once Mephistopheles looks very, very old. I fear that men are ripe for Judgment Day. Now, for the last time I've the Witches' Hill ascended, since to the lees my cask is drained away. The world as well must soon be ended. Ye gentlemen, don't pass me thus. Let not the chance neglected be. Behold my wares attentively. The stock is rare and various, and yet there's nothing I've collected, no shop on earth like this you'll find, which has not once sore hurt inflicted upon the world and on mankind. No daggers here that set not blood to flowing, no cup that hath not once within a healthy frame poured speedy death in poison glowing, no gems that have not brought a maid to shame, no sword but severed ties for the unwary, or from behind struck down the adversary.
The times thou badly comprehendest. What's done has happened, what haps is done. 'Twere better if for novelties thou sendest. By such alone can we be won.
Let me not lose myself in all this pother. This is a fair, as never was another.
The whirlwind swirls to get above. Thou art shoved thyself, imagining to shove.
But who is that?
Note her especially. 'Tis Lilith.
Who?
Adam's first wife is she.
Do note, I think this is the first time we've seen Lilith mentioned in any of our works that we've read. Not in Paradise Lost, not in anything else, really. I don't know when she first started to be brought up, but this is the first reference for certain that we've seen. And we've read some old stuff.
Beware the lure within her lovely tresses, the splendid sole adornment of her hair. When she succeeds therewith a youth to snare, not soon again she frees him from her jesses.
Those two, the old one with the young one sitting, they've danced already more than fitting.
No rest tonight for young or old, they start another dance. Come now, let us take hold.
And Faust starts dancing with the young witch. A lovely dream once came to me. I then beheld an apple tree, and then there two fairest apples shone. They lured me so, I climbed thereon.
Apples have been desired by you, since first in paradise they grew, and I am moved with joy to know that such within my garden grow.
Mephistopheles is dancing with the old witch.
A dissolute dream once came to me. Therein I saw a cloven tree, which had a, yet as 'twas I fancied it.
Okay, so this is either censorship, or this is foul speech not fit for human tongue. It could be either one, because it was witches and such that were saying it earlier when we had little cutouts. And now it is an old witch and Mephistopheles. So, let's go with that. It is a foul tongue.
I offer here my best salute unto the knight with cloven foot. Let him prepare, if him does not scare.
Okay, hang on. Phantasmist? That is a title. That is something for sure. Okay, it is a German term, of course, because only German can string together so many bits and pieces of words to make a big word. But this is a humorous, obscure term for someone who believes ghosts can be conjured or dispelled by applying leeches to their posterior. Okay. Sure thing, Goethe. Sure thing. I'm gonna let you have this one. I don't have anything for this. What voice do I give a crazy person who thinks you can dispel ghosts by giving them leeches on the ass? I don't even know.
Accursed folk, how dare you venture thus? Had you not long since demonstration, the ghost can't stand on ordinary foundation, and now you even dance like one of us. What, does he come then to our ball?
Oh, everywhere on him you fall. When
others dance, he weighs the matter. If he can't every step bechatter, then 'tis the same as were the step not made. But if you forwards go, his ire is most displayed. If you would whirl in regular gyration, as he does in his dull old mill, he'd show, at any rate, good will, especially if you heard and heeded his hortation. You still are here? Nay, 'tis a thing unheard. Vanish at once. They've heard the enlightening word. The pack of devils by no means is daunted. We are so wise, and yet is Tegel haunted. Be clear the folly out. How have I swept and stirred? 'Twill ne'er be clean. Why, 'tis a thing unheard. Then cease to bore us at our ball.
Oh, okay. And the Talmud and old Jewish folklore there for that. Interesting. Interesting. I know she comes up in a lot of different sort of fiction, for them, like different pieces of fiction and the things that are trying to add some validity, some extra little tint of obscure knowledge and things there from time to time, to give an anchoring point for people. So Lilith is one of those that exists in sort of general awareness, but not many actual sources. That makes sense. Okay, we are still the... yeah, Vampire the Masquerade is a common usage. And who is still speaking? Oh, the ghost ass guy. Okay.
I tell you, spirits, your face, I give to spirit despotism no place. My spirit cannot practice it at all.
Dance continues on.
Naught will succeed, I see, amid such revels, yet something from a tour I always save, and hope, before my last step to the grave, to overcome the poets and the devils. He now will seat him in the nearest puddle, the solace this whereof he's most assured. And when upon his rump the leeches hang and fuddle, he'll be of spirits and of spirit cured.
And Faustus left the dance, but Mephistopheles turns.
Wherefore forsakest thou the lovely maiden that in the dance so sweetly sang?
Ah! In the midst of it there sprang a red mouse from her mouth. Sufficient reason.
That's nothing. One must not so squeamish be. So the mouse was not grey, enough for thee? Who'd think of that in love's selected season?
Then saw I...
What?
Mephisto, seest thou there, alone and far, a girl most pale and fair? She faltered on, her way scarce knowing, as if with fettered feet that stay her going. I must confess it seems to me as if my kindly Margaret was she. I think this is the first time we've seen Mephistopheles shortened like this. I know Mephisto is the more common term that you see these days, but they are interchangeable normally. But the root is Mephistopheles.
Let the thing be, all thence of evil drawn. It is a magic shape, a lifeless eidolon. Such the encounter is not good. Their blank set stare benumbs the human blood, and one is almost turned to stone. Medusa's tale to thee is known.
Forsooth, the eyes they are of one whom dying, no hand with loving pressure closed. That is the breast whereon I once was lying, the body sweet beside which I reposed.
'Tis magic all, thou fool seduced so easily. Unto each man his love she seems to be.
The woe, the rapture so ensnare me, that from her gaze I cannot tear me. And strange, around her fairest throat a single scarlet band is gleaming, no broader than a knife blade seeming.
Quite right. The mark I also note. Her head beneath her arm she'll sometimes carry. 'Twas Perseus lopped it, her old adversary. Thou cravest the same illusion still. Come, let us mount this little hill. The Prathern shows no livelier still. And if they've not bewitched my sense, I verily see a theatre. What's going on?
Servibilis. Yes, lovely. The dictionary will not even tell me what servibilis means because it autocorrects to serverless. Okay, cool. We're gonna use that as a name because I haven't the slightest idea. "'Twill shortly recommence a new performance. 'Tis the last of 7. To give that number is the custom here. 'Twas by the dilettante written, and dilettanti in the parts appear. That now I vanish, pardon, I entreat you, as dilettante I the curtain raise." What, Zoe? What? Yes.
"When I upon the Blockberg meet you, I find it good, but it's your proper place."
And a couple images here of the Walpurgis Night. We see here the young witch who spat out a red mouse as she was dancing with Faust. A little unnerving. It's an interesting little bit of characterization here because this is most certainly a head set on top of an abdomen, and there's no torso to speak of. But, a very surreal sequence that we had in that last scene. The Walpurgis Night was certainly out there. All right, let's go ahead and take a short break here. We are coming up on, we've got about 10%-ish left to get through tonight, so we're making good progress. We should be able to finish without any real problem or rush tonight, but let's go ahead and take a short break. The parade of different voices through that last scene was a little much for me, so it's time to kill off the bottle of gin and give it its proper salute off and see it off. So we'll be back in just a little while. I'll top off the drink, stretch the legs, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, we are back. Oh, and yes, okay, that is the correct. All right, well, the gin is dead. Long live the gin. It was a good bottle. A handle. It had a good long life. Just means it's due for a trip back to the liquor store. C'est la vie. Alright, so, we don't have a whole lot left tonight, so let's go ahead and get through it. We've got the continuance of the... it was adequate. It fulfilled its role. It did its job, and completed its duty. It's I think it was just Gordon's, nothing too fancy. Not bottom shelf, but certainly not anything top shelf. Good for mixing, not for martinis. All right. So, as we were getting along, we've got just a few. I think let's see, we're coming up on scene 22. See, mid-quality are my go-to for most stuff. The nice bottles are only brought out for special occasions or particularly pleasant company. But for evenings alone, mid-quality are my bread and butter. I very rarely go bottom shelf. That requires being on quite a bender already. But to just appreciate the spirits for what they are, mid-quality is really the sweet spot. You don't break the bank. You don't need to be pretentious. It's good enough. And that is all we ask for, is good enough. Alright, as we were saying, we've got, looks like, 4 scenes left. And I don't think any of them are as long as the one we just sat through. So, we are probably on the downhill slope on this. We'll see when we finish up. We may run a little over because we've had a little bit of yapping tonight. And for that, I don't apologize. Alright, so, continuing on from scene 22. The Walpurgis Knight's Dream. Oberon and Titania's Golden Wedding. The intermezzo. Okay, hold on. Goethe, how high are you to drift from scene to scene, from setting to setting? We've gone from 1800s Germany to now Oberon and Titania's wedding? I'm sorry, what? Man found some of the good stuff. All right. Oh, God. It's a different character speaking every time here. Oh. All right. So we've established my French, pretty poor. My German, a little bit better, but still on the poor side. Latin, I'm getting better at. Russian, hopeless. My Fey? This is untested territory, lads. This could be bad. This could be bad. All right. The manager of the Golden Wedding now. Sons of Meeting, rest today, needless of your machinery, misty vale and mountain grey, that is all the scenery. That the golden wedding be, that the wedding golden be, must 50 years be rounded, but the golden give to me, when the strife's compounded. Spirits, if you'll here be seen, show yourselves delighted. Fairy king and fairy queen, they are newly plighted.
cometh pack, and light of limb, whisks and whirls in measure. Come 100 after him, to share with him in the pleasure. Gabriel's song is heavenly pure, his tones are sweet and rare ones. Though ugly faces he allure, yet he allures the fair ones. Spouses, who would fain agree, learn how we were mated. If your pairs would loving be, first be separated. If her whims the wife control, and the man berate her, take him to the northern pole, and her to the equator. The orchestra now plays, and they blaze in with a fortissimo. Snout of... okay, so there's people singing now. Okay. This is a right mess. Walpurgis is chaos incarnate. Snout of fly, mosquito bill, and king of all conditions, frog and grass and cricket trill, these are the musicians. See the bagpipe on our track, 'tis the soap-blown bubble, hear the schnick, schnick, snack, through the nostrils double. Spider's foot and paunch of toad, and little wings we know 'em, a little creature 'twill not be, but yet a little poem. Little step and lofty leap, through honey, dew, and fragrance, you'll never mount the airy steep with all your tripping vagrants. Is't but masquerading play? See I with precision? Oberon, the beauteous fay, meets tonight my vision. Not a claw, no tail I see, and yet beyond a cable, like the gods of Greece must he also be a devil. I only sees, with sketchy air, some outlines of the tourney, yet I betimes myself prepare for my Italian journey. My bad luck brings me here, alas! How roars the orgy louder, and of the witches in the mass, but only 2 wear powder. Oh, God. That... yeah, no, that would be awful. That would be actually insulting to everyone involved. The authors, you, the listener, and most of all, my own sensibilities. Let's do it. Powder becomes like petticoat, a grey and wrinkled noddy, so I sit naked on my goat and show a strapping body. You too much tact and policy to rate with jibes a scolder, yet young and tender though you be, I hope to see you moulder. Fly, snout, and mosquito bill, don't swarm so around the naked. Frog and grass and cricket trill, observe the time and make it. Society's to one desire, brides only and the sweetest, and bachelors of youth and fire, and prospects the completest. And if the earth don't open now, to swallow up each ranter, why, then will I myself, I vow, jump into hell instanter. Now, zennies? Oh, Lord. Us as little insects see, with sharp as nippers flitting. That our Papa Satan we may honour as is fitting. Now in crowds together massed, they are jesting shameless. They will even say at last that their hearts are blameless. These are all... oh, these names. Moussaret. Among this witch's revelry, his way one gladly loses, and truly it would easier be than to command the muses. C'est devant genius of the age. They proper folks, one's talents, lord. Come on, and none shall pass us. The Blocksberg has a summit broad, like Germany's Parnassus. Say, who's the stiff and pompous man? He walks with haughty paces. He snuffles all he snuffle can. He scents the Jesuits' traces. Both clear and muddy streams for me are good to fish and sport in, and thus the pious man you see, with even devils consorting. Yes, for the pious I suspect, all instruments are fitting, and on the Blocksberg they erect full many a place of meeting. A newer chorus now succeeds. I hear the distant drumming. Don't be disturbed, 'tis in the reeds, the bitterns change the booming. How each his legs in nimble trip lift up and makes a clearance, the crooked jump, the haughty skip. No care for the appearance. The rabble by such hate are held, to maim and slay delights them, as Orpheus' lyre the brutes compelled, the bagpipe here unites them. I'll not be led by any lure of doubt or critic cavils. The devil must be something, sure, or sure, how should there be devils? This once the fancy wrought in me is really too despotic. Forsooth, if I am all to see, I must be idiotic. This racking fault on every hand, it gives me great vexation. And here, for the first time, here I stand, on insecure foundation. With much delight I see the play, and grant to these their merits, since from the devils I also may infer the better spirits. The flame they follow on, and think they're near the treasure. But devil rhymes with doubt alone, so I am here with pleasure. Frog in green and cricket drill, such dilettantes, perdition! Fly, snout, and mosquito bill, each one's a fine musician. San Sochi, we call the clan of merry creatures, so then. Go afoot, no more we can, and on our heads we go then. Once, many a bit we sponged, but now, God help us, that is done with. Our shoes are all danced out, we trow. We've but naked souls to run with. O'er the marshes we appear, where we originated, yet in the ranks at once we're here, as glittering gallants rated, darting higher than from the sky, in star and firelight shooting. Courtwise now in grass I lie, who'll help me in my footing?
And around about us room, trodden o'er the grasses, spirits also spirits come, and they are bulky masses.
And they're not so stall-fed quite, like elephant calves about one, and the heaviest weight tonight be Puck himself, the stout one. If loving nature at your back, or mind the wings uncloses, follow up my airy track to the Mount of Roses. And here the orchestra fades to a pianissimo. Cloud and trailing mist o'erhead are now illuminated. Air in leaves and wind and reed, and all is dissipated.
That was chaos. I haven't had nearly enough to drink to pull that off. And the best part was just trying to pull characters straight out of thin air as they're coming up with names for just generalizations. The skeptic, the purist, the pious, the leader of the band. Like, how do they sound? Tried to have fun with it anyway. Yeah, exactly. If you're just given a character, a vague idea, you just gotta run with it, right? Otherwise, you're not doing it justice. You gotta ham it up. The biggest thing is don't stop. Just take the brakes right off. Cut the lines. Just go. Don't think about it. Just run with it. All right. So we're coming up toward the end now, and we're getting back into the more grounded day-to-day, it seems. So, chapter 23. A dreary day. In a field, Faust and Mephistopheles are alone. In misery and despair, long wretchedly astray on the face of the earth, and now imprisoned, that gracious, ill-starred creature shut in a dungeon as a criminal, and given up to fearful torments. To this has it come, to this, treacherous, contemptible spirit, and thou hast concealed it from me? Stand then, stand! Roll the devilish eyes wrathfully in thy head. Stand and defy me with thine intolerable presence. Imprisoned in irretrievable misery, delivered up to evil spirits and to condemning, unfeeling man. And thou hast lulled me meanwhile with the most insipid dissipations, hast concealed from me her increasing wretchedness, and suffered her to go helplessly to ruin. So I think Faust has actually found out what's happened with Margaret, and he is rather displeased with Mephistopheles here. It's a little late for righteous anger, though, if I'm being honest. Faust, you're a little out of your element and way out of your depth here.
She is not the first.
Dog! Abominable monster! Transform him! Thou infinite spirit! Transform the reptile again into his dog shape, in which it pleased him often at night to scamper on before me, to roll himself at the feet of the unsuspecting wanderer, and hang upon his shoulders when he fell. Transform him again into his favourite likeness, that he may crawl upon his belly in the dust before me, that I may trample him, the outlaw, underfoot, not the first. Oh, woe, woe, which no human soul can grasp, that more than one should sink into the depths of this misery. The first, in its writhing death agony under the eyes of the eternal forgiver, did not expiate the guilt of all others. Misery of this single one pierces to the very marrow of my life, and thou art calmly grinning in the fate of thousands.
I may have peeked my mic a couple times there. I didn't know that OBS, when you got a little on the upside, it turned the entire bar a very bright red.
Now we are already again at the end of our wits, where the understanding of you men runs wild. Why dost thou enter into fellowship with us, if thou canst not carry it out? Wilt fly, and art not secure against dizziness? Did we thrust ourselves upon thee, or thou thyself upon us?
And this is all with me keeping the mic input at -1 decibel. So I hope my neighbors are asleep, or not asleep. The walls are not terribly thin, so I think we're okay.
Gnash not thus thy devouring teeth at me. It fills me with horrible disgust. Mighty, glorious spirit, who hast vouchsafed to me thine apparition, who knowest my heart and my soul, why fetter me to the felon comrade, who feeds on mischief and gluts himself with ruin?
Hast thou done?
Rescue her, or woe to thee! The fearless curse be upon thee for thousands of ages.
I cannot loosen the bonds of the Avenger, nor undo his bolts. Rescue her? Who was it that plunged her into ruin? I or thou?
Faust looks around now wildly.
Wilt thou grasp the thunder? Well, that it has not been given to you, miserable mortals, to crush to pieces the innocent respondent. Is the tyrant fashion of relieving oneself in embarrassments.
Take me thither. She shall be free.
And the danger to which thou wilt expose thyself, know that the guilt of blood from thy hand still lies upon the town. Avenging spirits hover over the spot where the victim fell, and lie in wait for the returning murderer.
That, too, from thee, murder and death of a world upon thee, monster! Take me thither, I say, and liberate her!
I will convey thee there, and hear what I can do. Have I all the power in heaven and on earth, I will becloud the jailer's senses, get possession of the key, and lead her forth with human hand. I will keep watch. The magic steeds are ready. I will carry you off. So much is in my power.
Up and away!
The magic steeds question here, with Faust and Mephistopheles ready to hit the skies. Scene 24.
At night, in the open field, Faust and Mephistopheles are speeding along on black horses. What weave they whirl around the Raven Stone! I know not what they are brewing and doing, soaring up, sweeping down, bowing and bending. A witch's guild, they scatter, devote and boom, on, on.
So this is just the transit.
Chapter 25. In the dungeon. Faust shows with a bunch of keys and a lamp showing before an open door. A shudder, long unfelt, comes o'er me. Mankind's collected woe o'erwhelms me here. She dwells within the dark, damp walls before me, and all her crime was a delusion dear. What? I delay to free her? I dread once again to see her? On, my shrinking, but lingers death more near. Grasp the lock, and the sound of singing is heard inside. My mother, the harlot, who put me to death. My father, the varlet, who eaten me hath. Little sister, so good, laid my bones in the wood, in the damp moss and clay. Then was I a beautiful bird of the wood, fly away, fly away. Now Faust unlocked the door. She does not dream her lover listens near, that he, the rattling chain, the rustling straw can hear. Walks in. Margaret hides herself on the little pallet. Woe, woe, they come! O death of bitterness! Hush! The hour is come that frees thee. Art thou a man? Then pity my distress. Thy cries will wake the guards, and they will seize thee. And goes to unlock her fetters. Who, headsman, unto thee such power over me could give? Thou'lt come for me at midnight hour. Have mercy on me, let me live. It's not soon enough when morning chime has run. She stands now, and I am yet so young, so young. Now death comes, and ruin. I too was fair. That was my undoing. My love was near, but now he's far. Torn lies the wreath, scattered the blossoms are. Seize me not thus so violently. Spare me. What have I done to thee? Let me not vainly entreat thee. I never chanced in all my days to meet thee. Shall I outlive this misery? Now am I wholly in thy might. But let me suckle first my baby. I blissed it all this livelong night. They took tway to vex me, maybe. And now they say I killed the child outright. Never shall I be glad again. They sing songs about me. 'Tis bad of the folk to do it. There's an old story, has the same refrain. Who bade them so construe it? Here lieth one who loves thee ever, the thraldom of thy woe to sever. Oh, let us kneel, and call the saints to hide us. To the steps beside us, the threshold under, hell heaves in thunder. The evil one, with terrible wrath, seeketh a path, his prey to discover. Margaret! Margaret! It was the voice of my lover. Here she springs to her feet. The fetters are holding her fall off. Where is he? I heard him call me. I am free. No one shall enthrall me. To his neck will I fly, on his bosom lie. On the threshold he stood, and Margaret calling. Midst of hell's howling and noises appalling, midst of the wrathful infernal derision, I knew the sweet sound of the voice of the vision. 'Tis I! 'Tis thou. Oh, say it once again. She grasps hold of him. 'Tis he, 'tis he. When now is all my pain, the anguish of the dungeon and the chain. 'Tis thou. Thou comest to save me, and I am saved. Again the street I see, where first I looked on thee. Where first I looked on thee. And the garden, brightly blooming, where I and Martha wait thy coming. Faust is trying to leave. Come with me. Delay now. So fain I stay, when thou delayest. Rests. Away now. If longer here thou stayest, we shall be made to dearly rue it. Kiss me. Canst no longer do it?
my friend, so short a time thou'rt missing, and hast unlearned thy kissing? Why is my heart so anxious on thy breast, where once a heaven thy glances did create me, a heaven thy loving words expressed, and thou didst kiss, as thou wouldst supplicate me. Kiss me, or I'll kiss thee.
Margaret embraces him.
Ah, whoa, thy lips are chill and still. How changed in fashion thy passion! Who has done me this ill?
She turns away. Come, follow me, my darling, be more bold. I'll clasp thee soon with warmth 1,000-fold, but follow me. 'Tis all I beg of thee.
And is it thou? Thou, surely, certainly?
'Tis I, come on.
Thou wilt unloose my chain, and in thy lap wilt take me once again. How comes it that thou dost not shrink from me? Say, dost thou know, my friend, whom thou makest free?
Come, come, the night already vanisheth.
My mother have I put to death. I've drowned the baby born to thee. Was it not given to thee and me? Thee too! 'Tis thou! It scarcely true doth seem. Give me thy hand. 'Tis not a dream. Oh, thy dear, dear hand. But ah! 'Tis wet. Why, wipe it off. Methinks that yet there's blood thereon. Oh, what hast thou done? Nay, sheath thy sword at last. Do not affray me.
Oh, let the past be past. Thy words will slay me.
No, no. Thou must outlive us. Now, I'll tell thee the graves to give us. Thou must begin tomorrow the work of sorrow. The best place give to my mother. Then, close to her side, my brother, and me, a little away, but not too far. Too very far, I pray. And here, on my right breast, my baby lay. Nobody else will lie beside me. Oh, in thy arms to hide me. That was a sweet and a gracious bliss, but no more can I attain it. I would force myself on thee and constrain it. It seems thou repellest my kiss, and yet 'tis thou, so good, so kind to see.
If thou feel'st it is I, then come with me.
Out yonder,
to freedom.
Is the grave is there, death lying in wait. Then come. From here to eternal rest. No further step. Oh, no, no. Thou goest away. Oh, Henry, if I could go.
Thou canst.
Just
Will it? Open stands the door.
I dare not go. There's no hope any more. Why should I fly? They'll still my steps waylay. It is so wretched, forced to beg my living, and a bad conscience, sharp a misery giving. It is so wretched to be so strange forsaken. And I'd still be followed and taken.
I'll stay with thee.
Be quick, be quick. Save thy perishing child. Away! Follow the ridge, up by the brook.
Here we have a picture here. It's Margaret is free enough, but she just won't go away with him. She's unchained, the door's unlocked, but she's trapped in a prison of her own. Her spirit, her mind is just yearning for punishment. She's not going to be able to get away from this, is she?
Over the bridge, into the wood, into the left, where the plank is placed, in the pool. Hasten in haste, 'tis trying to rise, 'tis struck, still, save it, save it!
Recall thy wandering will, one step, and thou art free at last.
If the mountain we only pass, there sits my mother upon a stone. I feel an icy shiver. There sits my mother upon a stone, and her head is wagging ever. She beckons, she nods not, her heavy head falls o'er. She slept so long that she wakes no more. She slept while we were caressing. Ah, those were the days of blessing.
Here words and prayers are nothing worth. I'll venture then to bear thee forth.
No, let me go, I'll suffer no force. Grasp me not so murderously. I've done else all things for love of thee.
The day dawns, dearest, dearest.
Day? Yes, the day comes. The day, the last day breaks for me. My wedding day it was to be. Tell no one thou'st been with Margaret. Woe, oh my garland, the chances are over. 'Tis all in vain. We shall meet once again. Not at the dances. The crowd is thronging. No word is spoken. The square below, the streets overflow. The death bell tolls. The wand is broken. I am seized and bound and delivered. Shoved to the block. They give the sign. Now over his neck has quivered. The blade is quivering over mine. Dumb lies the world like the grave.
Oh, I ne'er been born.
Oh, you're lost ere morn. Useless talking, delaying and praying. My horses are neighing. The morning twilight is near. What rises up from the threshold here? He, suffer him not. What does he want at this holy spot? He seeks me. Thou shalt live. Judgment of God, myself to thee I give. Come, or I'll leave her in the lurch, and thee. Thine am I, Father. Rescue me. Ye angels, holy cohorts, guard me, camp around, and from evil ward me. Henry, I shudder to think of thee. She is judged.
She is saved.
Hither to me. Mephistopheles disappears with Faust. The voice from within dying away. Henry, Henry.
And that is the end of part 1 of Faust. So this one is a quick to mind. I think there was about 20 years between Goethe writing the first part and the second part. So really, this could be the end, and it feels, as we were talking about it earlier, it feels so much like a Greek tragedy, but in modern verse and meter, and sort of, it feels familiar. Not quite a classic, but it feels so much like something straight from Sophocles. I still can't get over how good the translation was. But there's so much that is left out in this, that is left to the audience to infer, that it was never explicitly said that Faust and that Faust and Margaret lay together, but it was understood. And her mother presumably died of the sedative that he gave her. And yeah, the way the chorus is used, it's very much like the chorus use is definitely very Greek, and that is definitely shows more in the second half than it was in the first. Because the chorus is definitely like the equivalent in the Greek way. The chorus is almost the way the narration is done out. Instead of having a voice coming from above as the narration, or someone from the side, it's like the crowd screaming out and saying how things are moving along. But this definitely had the modern sense, where there were a lot of characters, a lot of dialogue going back and forth, not just one or two main people and then the chorus alone. So it had that sort of transitionary feel to it, where this is sort of the bridge between a classic tragedy and something more Shakespearean. Which actually, I think this was written after Shakespeare. So I think it was intended to feel like the old Greek tragedies. It was meant to conjure up the emotions and the sensation of the classics like that. All very interesting and very cool. I enjoyed this one a lot. I know plays only work so well for our format. The Greek plays worked okay because it was Greek. And this worked really well because it was sort of, as we've said a few times, it's a closet drama. It's not really meant to be played on stage. It's not meant to be seen. It's meant to be read, which works really well for this. And yeah, this is definitely a sort of best of both worlds, like you said, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know that there's really much other works like this that we can pull out and try and replicate this feeling, because I don't know if anybody does this as well as Goethe does. I slipped. I actually said Goethe. I know it's Goethe. I know it, but seeing it, it looks like Goethe. Yeah, if we ever did Shakespeare, it would require other people. There's only so much I can do with different voices. But I will say, the way I do it as a one-man show makes the dialogue back and forth sometimes work really well. I think I can amp up the tension and the left side, right side, bop, really well. But that's only because I don't stop to think as I read. Eyes see page, mouth says words. So, this was a lot of fun. I liked this a lot. It had a dark tone, and I mean that's fitting. That would be cool. I've been thinking about trying to get together people to do a book club of sorts, where we all read the same book on stream, and then when we've all finished or gone through certain chapters, we come together for like a collab to discuss the book with our audiences. I thought that would be really cool. I don't know if anybody's done it. I know the audience of bibliophile VTubers is rather small. There's I can think of like 3 people that do it, but I like the idea of a VTuber book club involving the viewers, involving chat. That could be cool. So maybe someday, as we expand, I think us starting to stream simultaneously to Twitch and YouTube could be a good thing for both reach, audience, and working with others. Because I'll be able to raid when we're in Twitch, and I'll find other people that are filtered by books and narrations and voice acting, and go from there. And maybe build some community, some friends. We'll see. We'll see. It might be optimistic, but we've been doing this for a year. What's the long term? I don't care. We'll do this for as long as it takes, right? But yeah, it would be really cool to do a bunch of a playhouse of theater kid VTubers, like you said. The trick is delay. The delay in stream, even if you're doing like a collab over like Discord or something like that, it just you get that hesitation between words, which it can work fine for like stage and such. It can work. The delay really only matters a lot when you're having things that are supposed to be either in sync or boom, 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 boom in sequence. And yeah, you're right. The worst that can happen is that nothing changes. And honestly, that wouldn't be the end of the world for me. We've had fun doing just this for the year, and we'll continue to do so. And with that, we need to think about what we're reading next. And actually, I have an idea. Well, not an idea. I know what we're reading next. I've wanted to do Faulkner for a long time. And it just so happens that as of Public Domain Day, the 1st, some new Faulkner has fallen into the public domain. So, our next book, we'll be starting it tomorrow, is going to be As I Lay Dying by Faulkner. I'd been hesitant because previously the only Faulkner work that was available was The Sound and the Fury. And that one is... that one's heavy. That one is really heavy. It's not to say that As I Lay Dying isn't heavy, but it's a different sort. I don't know if I'm ready for The Sound and the Fury. I don't know if I can do it justice, but I think we can do. I think we can do As I Lay Dying. So that's what we'll start tomorrow. We're going kind of full circle here. We started the channel with one of the classic authors, and now we're getting into a little bit more modern, but still in the same conversation of classic authors. We're in quasi-modern lit, and I'm here for it. Absolutely and always. I'm pretty hyped. There's so much new stuff that, like, there's a lot of great stuff that came into the public domain here. And actually, I was looking through last week or so. Because of the way the periodicals are copyrighted, they've got a shorter copyright term. That's kind of how we were able to get Lovecraft and how we've been able to get some other things here and there. It's not one of the big ones, but there is some Frank Herbert that is in the public domain when he was writing periodicals. That could be a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of the early Nancy Drew just got entered too. And the Maltese Falcon. Oh, we need to get to that one too. Oh, it's a good year for public domain. Every year's a good year for public domain, but we've got some very good ones coming up, and so it gives us some new to us options. I'm excited. We're gonna get a lot of good stuff coming in January and February, because I'm gonna try and do things that are newly accessible, new to Gutenberg for a little while, because we need to celebrate Public Domain Day. We need to celebrate the new stuff coming in. Copyright has its place. 100 years is way too goddamn long, though. But we will celebrate its end in our own way. Yeah, exactly. So I am planning probably around anniversary time. So around the 31st is when we'll go live on the Twitch side. We will continue to do YouTube or all of our streams. I have no plans to phase out YouTube. It'll be easier. Maybe we'll start having scheduled, like, since we have like 4 days a week, we might do like 1 day a week of more modern works that are not Twitch only, but are unarchived, like off VOD, that will be encouraging people to go Twitch first. But it will still stream on YouTube, because I can't get away from my roots. I will not. I refuse. That is strange. The one thing that we do need to be aware of with your random censorship, I think it's just certain words that it catches. I have no idea. But as I had mentioned, we will, when we go live with Twitch, I think we need to turn the YouTube chat off. We'll probably turn the Twitch chat on the screen, just so we've got some chat. But Twitch cares more for outside chat and app integrations than YouTube does. They apparently, as I've been reading up, it's a bannable offense to have, they get sensitive about that. Whether it just be because people that are banned on Twitch platform are talking on YouTube and then it shows up on the Twitch stream or anything. It's understandable, but it is what it is. So I'll probably, once we go live on Twitch, I'll switch over. Follow me on either or both. I don't mind. And yeah, you're right. We will build an audience wherever we find. I think there's a little bit more of an audience, or either it's easier for discovery on the Twitch side. So I think we might have some more people coming in and about, maybe. I can hope anyway. If it continues to be you and me, I'm not complaining. I do this because I like reading, and it buffs the ego a little bit to have somebody else to read with. I will say, in the past year, since we started this, I've been much better about expanding my horizons of things to read. It used to be I'd go through the same comfortable series over and over, or I'd read off and on random things. But this is a lot more ambitious, a way to provoke and force myself into a more intellectual stint. I've enjoyed it a lot, and I hope that we've had some impact on you guys at home. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. The back and forth helps a lot. I know, right? It's sort of, it's almost like we've got a book club of our own, and the bouncing of ideas off, and the commiserating of fellow old men is, you know, every once in a while kind of nice. All right, so we are right about on time. We finished relatively early, and we've had some time to chat and talk about what's coming up down the line. I think this is a good place to wrap up. Tomorrow, at our normal time, we will be starting with some Faulkner. It's been a long time coming. I'm very happy to be finally able to have some more access and more options for one of the cooler authors of the time period. And you're right, there have been quite a number of times where we've shared brain cells. However many are left after all the gin. But there's like, oh wait, are we in fact the same person, just on different sides of the internet? All right, guys. As always, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our reading of Goethe's Faust. I certainly did. And next up, we have As I Lay Dying by Faulkner, tomorrow night. I hope you can find time to join us. Until then, have a wonderful night, and thank you very much for joining us. Bye now.